I'm going to invite Stephen to tell us a little bit about Gen Starters while I'm gathering people up. So Stephen, what's Gen Starters? I know, but why don't you tell them, okay?
So we've identified, we have many partner competitions which are going to be coming up here shortly. We've identified that their winners, after winning a competition, one of the things that they need the most are mentors, people to help them think through some of the challenges that they're facing. So we created Gen Starters Club. When we first began, it was a collection of these winners and these finalists who needed help with mentors. So we did the mentor matching. We have a few different cities that we have these winners from. And so the whole purpose is really this peer-to-peer network. How do you get them to engage with one another across borders? But also, two, how do you provide that mentorship piece that they so desperately need at that moment so that we can reduce startup failures? So that's what we're aiming to do with Gen Starters Club. And the one thing I can say is if you have a competition in your local country, let us know. Maybe you can offer Gen Starters Club as a prize for them. It may be a useful tool. So that's my only ask. Yeah.
Thank you. Is Chloe here from the Clean Tech Open? Chloe, come on up. Thanks. Okay, so at Gen, if you go to genglobal.org, you'll be able to get to a competitions page. And at the competitions page, you'll be able to learn about the kinds of competitions that we're endorsing and promoting. And of course, there's a big picture thing is that we have a platform called Startup Compete, which is a way of actually managing your business plan competition. It's not used by all. There are many platforms throughout there, but it's one that Gen offers and is actually offered free of charge to our Gen MDs. So you can utilize that to run a business plan competition. But having said that, the people that have been with us from the start, who we have worked together in building what we think are the most phenomenal things in the world in terms of how you actually globally get the world together in building a global competition are here. I know they've all got colleagues sitting in the stage, but they picked one person to sit up here on the stage. So I want to make sure that, first of all, I introduce Chloe from the Clean Tech Open. And I also want to introduce Rasmus from the Creative Business Club. And we have Michalis, the Future Agro Challenge, which you're going to learn a lot about tomorrow because it is going to be our featured GEC global competition. And as we well know, the Get in the Ring was our featured competition last year. So let me start with you. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with Get in the Ring since Medellin. I think a lot of our audience got the chance to see what you were doing and take it from there.
Yeah. I think that's also really important that people see the startups, right? And last year was a great opportunity for us to show you guys what Get in the Ring really is about putting startups on a stage to connect them to the opportunities. And that's also the mission of Get in the Ring. So Get in the Ring wants to connect startups on a global scale to the opportunities that are out there with, for example, corporates, but can also be government and investors, to in the end solve global challenges. Because it's really great that we have local events, and we need to have a lot more of them to show these startups what's going on. To show the opportunities that the startups are out there, but to be able to connect these startups to a network outside of their own country, outside of their own regions, we have to have formats and networks that connect them. Get in the Ring is one of those formats, so we provide organizers all around the world with the opportunity to use a format where we put two startups in a boxing ring and we have them battle against each other. And a lot of people ask us, why do they have to battle against each other? Because they're supposed to get connected to opportunities, right? And one of the main reasons why we talk to them and say, well, the audience is also interested in hearing about these startups. But they don't just want to hear about these startups in the old-fashioned way. They also want to see the sparkle in their eyes. And they want to see why they are passionate about what they do every day and why their solution is going to actually solve those global problems. And by putting them on the stage and having them battle against each other, it's one of the reasons why we achieve that vision of that entrepreneur towards the audience. And I think a lot of things that we are doing right now focus on trying to solve a lot of these global problems that are out there, but we can do a lot more. So Get in the Ring was started in 2012, and ever since we've been doing that, we have Get in the Ring events all over the world, and a lot of you guys in the room have actually already organized Get in the Ring.
How many Get in the Rings in the world? Hold your hand up if you know you have one. Wow, there's hands in every segment. There we go.
Yeah, and we are really, really proud that all of you actually have been so involved in what we do. But there's a lot more opportunities out there to do more. So we cannot do it without you guys. We need to have you show the startups in your communities even more to the global community, so that we can help them in the end to connect them to the opportunities they need to solve their problems.
Great. Where's the next final?
So the next final is going to be in Singapore, 17th to 19th of May. So anybody that is still interested in actually joining us there, it's possible. You can just go to our website and go to Global Conference, so getinring.co/global conference. We invite you all to be there. That's also why we made sure it's not in the same week this time, so it's in May. So join us definitely there.
Can you come up one sec, the two of you? We can't have a conversation about Get in the Ring without at least having the three of you stand up there together. So, no, I just want to make sure you've seen. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hendrik Halbe. I founded the competition with Erwin and my colleague Martin, who is from the beginning in our team also.
Yeah, Martin Luxemburg. Besides founding Get in the Ring, also director of the Erasmus Center for Entrepreneurship. So also in that capacity, nice to talk to people about entrepreneurship, education and research.
Normally Jochem is also here, but he's in Thailand and in China because we have multiple events also going on during this GEC. So it shows that we grow rapidly the last years. Thank you for the stage, William.
Thank you, Hendrik, and thank you for everything you do. Hendrik has been, in fact, all these guys have been with us since the beginning, so we really appreciate that. So great job, and thanks for being with us. Okay, great, thanks. So from going from a Dutch invention, if we could go to a Swedish invention. So what have you been? I'm sorry. Okay, from Copenhagen, here's Rasmus.
Thank you. Well, there's a big difference. They used to be Danes, it's true, but they became independent at one point. Yes, I'm from the Creative Business Cup, and there's about 10% of the economy in most countries, between 8 and 12%, are the creative economy. It's music, fashion, gaming, etc. And we focus on those startups that haven't gone to the usual business schools or to engineering school, but some of these more creative minds that do not know how to make a business plan or how to find investors. We made a study in Denmark where we did a comparative study of startups, and we found that startups from the creative industries have a harder time finding access to finance. They are more global oriented, so a gaming company in Denmark would also go easily to Vietnam. They usually have IP is of a higher part of their value that they add, so not so much the functionality. And then also we have this that they have a difficult time developing their business. So that's why we created Business Cup in 2012, and we had 17 countries join, and now we're 60 countries and 7,000 startups. Because apparently also in all the other countries you have these kind of startups that haven't gone the usual MBA road and know how to make a good pitch and a business plan. And but another point with CBC is also that the creatives are really good at contributing to growth and innovation in other sectors, because that's what they do every day. So when we had the winner in 2013, Teddy the Guardian, that you also know, Jonathan, it's a teddy bear with medical sensors inside that can monitor a child's heart rate and oxygen level. People came up to me and said, well, that's a medtech invention, and said, well, CBC should be about the fun and games and just entertainment. I said, no, CBC is also about how the creatives can help with innovation in transportation, in health, in mobility, in healthcare, etc., etc. So we are talking about 10% of the economy, but we're also talking about how the creative industries and how creatives can contribute to growth in the rest of the economy. And just as Get in the Ring got the team up here, I also have a superpower team, and I think I should get up here. Sina and Emma, if you could come up here just so you can see, so you also can see who you can get hold of. We are here also this week, and we are still looking for national partners. We're also looking for investors who would like to join the jury or the Creative Business Investor Network that Emma is heading. And I think one last thing that is also important with CBC is that it's true that finding investors can be really important to a startup, but finding a corporate partner that will enter into a business relationship with them is just as important. That's why at CBC we invite the Legos, the IKEAs, etc. Some of these big creative corporations that will then scout for business partnerships or maybe invest in some of our startups. So it's not just business to startup to investors, but also corporate to startup. So that's about CBC. And Emma, Sina, also a great team I have here. So hope to see you while we're here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and then 2 more to go. So Michalis, we're going to really get a chance to show everybody what you are. So we're going to ask you to be brief. But tell us briefly what people can expect tomorrow and where they need to be and what's going... Wednesday, I'm sorry. Beg your pardon. Wednesday. Okay, go ahead.
Very fast. I hope you will all attend 4 o'clock on Wednesday to see the Future Agro Challenge finals. Actually, we flew here 50 agripreneurs, and now we're running the pre-selection. 6 or 8 maximum startups are going to be on the floor presenting what they do. And what is important in a matter of the mindset and the culture regarding what is entrepreneurship about is that we started 4 years ago from Greece during a severe crisis with the national GDP, flying down 50%. And what we managed to do in these 4 years is to grow in 64 countries, promoting this exactly mindset of you can do things bottom up. There is nothing else. If you work hard and if you focus, then the rest will come. And you will see these agripreneurs from around the world that, they struggle over there, and we connect them. Tomorrow you're going to have also the chance, and you're very right, to the exhibition hall. You will see all 50 of them in the innovation marketplace. You can meet them, talk with them, and the rest you will see it live. It will be a live experience, very interactive, very entertaining, and bottom line, the innovators will have the floor. So join us on Wednesday, and tomorrow go in the exhibition hall and find the agripreneurs there. Thank you.
And the good news is that when we're doing the Future Agro Challenge, there isn't any other choice of anything else for you to do. And right after it is when we're taking you all to dinner. So you'll be at the Future Agro Challenge, and I guarantee you, you will have an awesome time. We're so excited about it. So thank you so much, Michalis, for all you and Carla have done in bringing it here, because we couldn't be happier. And I know the good news is, just to give you one idea about these competitions. So, for example, I know the government of Thailand is interested in doing a food and ag and ad initiative. And they've come here and they want to look at this, and they want to think about how do we actually have something coming out of this for these agripreneurs. I know that ABAN, from an investment perspective, is very interested in these agripreneurs. So we want to look at all times for how Jen is making those connections. We want to make sure that each and every one of you that makes the effort to be part of this network gets value immediately and directly out of it. So you always want to be looking for that. So I really hope that you'll consider Michalis and Carla to be instrumental in creating a path. I know Steve Chio's over here, and they're talking about a FBI or food business initiative. So there's lots of other initiatives that we could try to tie together and once again build something bigger than the sum of the parts. So last but not least, the environment. Clean Tech Open, tell us what it is. Thank you. Chloe.
Yes, Chloe Soroker. I'm from San Francisco, and typically Kevin Braithwaite, I think you used to represent us. We have been partners of Jen since 2009. We essentially focus on clean technology because tackling the climate change issues is really important nowadays. We have to date about 42 countries that have participated, and we've had about 200 national finalists. So the way we work with these countries is typically the competition starts in April. With a call to application, and in June they select the different participants, and then by November or October they have selected their national winners. So what we invite the national winners and the runner-ups to San Francisco for a global competition. What we do during that time is we essentially introduce these new startups to partners and also customers as well as investors, but mostly focused on partners and customers, because it's very important for them to be successful that way. We have, for example, worked with companies in Israel and introduced them to Coca-Cola, a pasteurization type of company, and they started doing business. So oftentimes, most startups think that money from an investor will make them very successful, but that they need the customers first. So we are looking for new countries to work with. We work with a lot of GEN countries, but also others. But if there are any countries that are interested in promoting some of their clean technology startups, please, contact us. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. Great job. And we're very excited to continue to work with you. I know that you've often had all the finale occur during Global Entrepreneurship Week, which has helped us drive conversation about sustainability and clean technologies and the role that entrepreneurs play. I think we all know that there's barely an entrepreneur under the age of 40 that doesn't consider the venture being unacceptable if it doesn't have some contribution towards sustainability. So what you're doing is really important in helping us to recognize them and enable them to compete. So thank you so much indeed. Well, I know, Stephen, one quick note. How many competitions do we have? We haven't got them all up here, but the Startup Compete platform, how many do we have right now, sir? And tell us about how people can use that, just very briefly.
Well, since Startup Compete, I guess, began back in 2007, originally through a different name, we've hosted over 800 competitions to date with around 28,000 ideas submitted to those competitions. Okay, good. I know that we had a couple of bits of information here for you on Startup Compete. Is there any, but once again, if anybody wants to know about that platform, see Stephen. He's the point for all of our competitions and our startup programs, and we'd be delighted to have you. So, but last, I would think it's most importantly to end on an entrepreneur. So we have a competition at GEN that's very complicated to organize because it's completely online. Tel Aviv has done a great job at taking it into Israel. But one of the things that we wanted to do was to give people a chance anywhere in the world, even if they couldn't travel to a city that had, one of a GITR or one of the other CBC or one of the other competitions. We wanted people to be able to have a chance to compete in a competition. So the CleanTech Open, the word open, the Startup Open that we do is mostly focused on the idea that you could enter a competition remotely. And so one of the things we've been very lucky of is to have thousands of applications from around the world who people wanted to put their case to the test. We're very proud to say we have our winner of this year's Startup Open. So you can tell us about who you are, and you can tell us about why you entered the competition, and what the GEN community can do for you. We'll have one big huddle for about 30 seconds here. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. My name is Konstantin. I'm part of BrightUp. Here's my partner Ariel. You can see it. So we first of all thank you for inviting us and to have opportunity to pitch here. Actually, we are speaking. Our product is speak about water and water saving and water awareness. And one of the ideas to came here is to establish with the help of GEN some relevant relationship and networking in the end of the day to execute our project. And this is the milestone where BrightUp is now to start to execute. So I hope to have this opportunity to start executing our project.
Okay, great. Now you weren't told you were going to get this opportunity, but I'm just going to go ahead and say BrightTap. Okay. Everybody know that name, BrightTap, okay? You're going to remember it afterwards. Tell us 30 seconds. If we've all got money in our pocket, why should we invest it with you? What does your product do? Sorry?
Hello? Yeah. BrightUp is product is smart water meter that be connected to any tap, pipe, or hose. Actually, it's a smart water meter. In the end of the day, it's presenting how many liters you use during the usage, water usage. It's bring awareness to the people how and conversation to our homes and bills to save water. And water is a resource. We have other applications related to energy and et cetera, but it's the next steps. Initially and focus now, it's to save water.
Great.
Thank you.
You know, I think your product would be very useful. When I was a student, I remember I lived in somebody else's house as a guest when I was looking for accommodation. And I remember the father of the house came to me one day and said, you know, you're using too much water. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I noticed that you shave and you leave the tap running while you're shaving. He says, you're wasting water. And I said, I'm not wasting much water. That's probably, what, a cup of water or something? And he said, well, I don't have any way to measure this, but I'm sure you're wasting a lot of my hot water, okay? So I know that's not why you built it, but certainly we hope that we can police ourselves in terms of how we use this scarce resource. Something I know in California is always a question, or anywhere in the world, water is now a valuable commodity. So thank you so much indeed. We're going to learn more from you later, and I'm sure you'll find people. So, Stephen, let's wrap up now with this last comment. You just mentioned previously about Gen's our Gen Starters Club that we referenced earlier, and obviously the winners of our competitions are all invited to become part of the Gen Starters Club. I know it's in keeping with the notion of what we call peer-to-peer learning, a global network that allows people to instantly access what you were talking about earlier, which is we don't necessarily bring them in investors right away. We're bringing them in people who can give them advice and counsel. That's exactly what we want to try to do. So do we have, and we have at Gen our mentor network, but tell us 2 more minutes just quickly, or 1 more minute just about the Gen Starters Club, where we are and where we might go with it. So.
All right, with the Gen Starters Club, we are currently in our 2nd cohort. Our goal is to have 100 entrepreneurs within Gen Starters Club by the end of the year. So we're accepting new Gen Starters every quarter this year. So if you have any competitions that you're aware of, definitely reach out to me. Let me know to see how we can potentially partner and get them in. Now, with Gen Mentors, that's one of the key components. So we're also looking for mentors. We have such a great network of entrepreneurial leaders across 165 countries. We'd love to connect with some of them and see if they're interested in giving back. Many mentors that we meet are interested in just giving back and helping raise the next generation of entrepreneurs. So definitely connect them to us, and then we'll see how we can connect them to the right entrepreneurs. Not every entrepreneur needs a specific mentor. It's all based on their entrepreneurial journey. So we do the matching internally to see based on what they need and trying to peel back the layers to understand what they truly need to match them with the right mentor so that we're not wasting their time. And again, we're trying to grow this mentor network out, so any leads you can give us on people who want to give back would be greatly appreciated.
Wonderful. So on that note, I want to make sure that I've emphasized what Stephen said. If you've got competitions, we use that as a place that we think it'll make our life easier to evaluate people coming into the Gen Starters Club. We also want to make the competitions our advisory board to the Gen Starters Club. What is it that their winners really want to achieve by having some kind of global platform or community to be a part of that's different to a local community? Let's face it, we're mostly as entrepreneurs in our local communities. This is a chance to be global on day one. So obviously it's much more valuable to people that have got a product that might be globalized much faster. But the other thing to mention, in addition to Gen Mentors, how many of you, by the way, have got your profile complete on Gen Connect on the website? Hands up. Ooh, there's still a few hands that haven't gone up. That means you don't have a t-shirt. But don't forget to complete that, because one of the other things is if you fancy yourself, I shouldn't say it that way, but if you're willing to contribute back to the system, there's 2 ways you can do it that Gen Connect is going to help you with. One, which is a way you can do right now. If you would like to be a recipient of invitations to speak at public events, we have, all you need to do on your profile is check the box speaker, and you'll go in, and that you'll be learning later, there's an opportunity for you to complete details about what you would like to talk about, what you are willing to contribute. And we certainly want that. But as Stephen said, we also want to know if you're interested in being a mentor. We're not doing that yet through the Gen Connect platform. We'll be doing that in the future. We're doing that manually. Frankly, we're interviewing everybody individually to make sure that we don't send a mentor to an entrepreneur that we haven't really vetted. But we're definitely open to anybody wanting to join our mentor network. We've got lots of entrepreneurs that I'm sure would love to engage with you. So, Stephen, any last word or any last word from our competitions?
No, I think competitions are a great way to build community and, again, engage people and their ideas in entrepreneurship. So if you don't have a competition or you're interested in learning about any of these competitions, I'll be sending up a follow-up email with some of the materials that they provided, so you can reach out if you don't see them later on, and reach out to me when it comes to Gen Starters and Mentors so I can let you know more about it and how we can collaborate.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Stephen, for all you're doing, and thank you guys. You know, we've built this together. We've been in together on the ground up, so we're as we like to say, there's many people in this room have known each other for 10 years and have been, but they don't live in the same country, but they see each other the same time next year. And so I certainly hope that we'll continue to work together on figuring out how we do, just as Stephen said, give people a chance through competitions to build community and be leaders in that community. So thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it.